You felt it, right? That weird, buzzing, pins and needles feeling when your foot falls asleep. But what does it mean when that feeling shows up and just decides to stick around? Well, today, we're going to decode what that persistent tingling in your hands and feet is really trying to tell you.
Oh, you totally know the feeling. You wake up and your arm feels like it's full of tiny, fizzy bubbles. Or you stand up after sitting crisscross applesauce for too long, and your foot does that weird prickly dance back to life. It's something we've all been through.
And look, most of the time, that's all it is. It's a temporary, harmless little quirk. But the real question, the one we're diving into, is what's going on when it doesn't go away? That's when it stops being just an annoyance and becomes a real message from deep inside your body's communication network.
To really get a handle on that feeling, we've got to look at the incredible system that's making it happen. Let's talk about your body's very own electrical wiring.
So just imagine your brain and spinal cord are the main power station. The peripheral nervous system, then, is this huge, complex web of wires running from that power station out to literally every part of you, your fingertips, your toes, your muscles, everything.
And this is where it all clicks. Peripheral neuropathy is just a technical way of saying those wires have been damaged. Think about a frayed phone charger. The connection gets all staticky and unreliable. It's the same idea with your nerves. That static is the tingling, the numbness, or sometimes even a sharp burning pain.
Okay, so what could possibly cause these super important wires to get all frayed in the first place? Let's go ahead and round up the usual suspects.
The most straightforward cause is just pressure. On one hand, you have the temporary kind. You fall asleep on your arm, it pinches a nerve, you wake up, shake it out, and you're good to go. But then you have chronic pressure. A condition like carpal tunnel syndrome means a nerve in your wrist is getting squeezed constantly, which leads to symptoms that just don't go away. But sometimes, the issue isn't something pushing on the nerve, but something missing inside it. Vitamin B12 is absolutely essential for keeping the protective coating around our nerves healthy. You can think of it like the plastic insulation on an electrical wire. When you're low on B12, that insulation starts to break down. And that could cause not just tingling, but all sorts of other problems too, like feeling exhausted or weak.
Now, the good news is that for a lot of people, a B12 problem can be fixed right in the kitchen. It's found naturally in animal products, sure, but if you're vegetarian or vegan, don't worry. There are tons of great options out there, like fortified cereals, plant milks, and nutritional yeast.
Now, pressure and vitamins are definitely big factors, but they aren't the main event in this story. The single most common cause of this kind of nerve damage all around the world is diabetes.
And this number is pretty shocking. Up to 70% of people with diabetes will end up with some form of nerve damage. So why? Well, over time, high blood sugar is basically poison to your nerves. It attacks them directly, and it also wrecks the tiny little blood vessels that deliver all their oxygen and nutrients. It's a two-pronged attack that starves the nerves from the inside out. So we've covered the most common culprits, but the list really doesn't end there. Sometimes figuring out what's causing that tingling means doctors have to cast a much, much wider net. This table really gives you a sense of just how wide that net can be. You've got autoimmune disorders, where the body's own defense system gets confused and starts attacking the nerves. You've got different infections that can set it off. Even some life-saving medications or exposure to toxins like heavy metals can be the root cause. So with a list of potential suspects that long, how in the world do doctors actually solve the puzzle? Well, it's a pretty methodical process, almost like detective work.
The investigation always starts with a conversation. A doctor will want to know everything about your symptoms, your health history, what you do for a living. They're gathering clues. Then they'll do a physical and neurological exam to see how the nerves are actually working. And after that, it's usually on to some initial lab tests to find clues hiding in your blood.
And those first blood tests are super efficient. They're designed to go right after those usual suspects we've been talking about. Screening for diabetes by checking blood sugar, looking at B12 levels, and searching for any signs of autoimmune issues. It's all about narrowing down the possibilities to find the real culprit.
All right, so once a cause is found, or even if things are still a little bit of a mystery, the focus totally shifts. It goes from diagnosis to figuring out the best path forward.
And here's what's so important to understand. The goal isn't just to get rid of the tingling. That's just treating the symptom. It's like the tip of the iceberg. Real, lasting treatment is all about finding and managing whatever is causing the problem in the first place, whether it's blood sugar, a vitamin deficiency, or something else entirely. Now, any tingling that just won't quit is worth talking to a doctor about, but these things on this list, these are serious red flags. If the tingling comes on suddenly after an injury, or if it comes with major weakness, confusion, or losing control of your bladder, that's a sign you need to get medical help right away.
So, at the end of the day, that pins and needles feeling is a signal. It might be a really simple, fleeting message, or it could be a much more complex warning from your nervous system. Your body is always sending you signals. The only question is, are you listening?